Le socle commun de connaissances, de compétences et de culture. Common core of knowledge, skills and culture, 6 to 16. This is something which is relevant to the cycles 2, 3 and 4. That's at l'école élémentaire and le collège. So from right at the beginning of your primary school right through to the equivalent of end of year 9, this is evaluated. I'm going to talk to you about it. Le socle is the word for a plinth. So if you had a statue, the statue is placed on a plinth, on a basis, and we would, I'm sure, translate it as the sort of common core, the bit that's holding everything up. So if you go onto the government site, you'll find Le socle commun de connaissances, de compétences et de culture, and it tells you what it is. Let's go there now. So I'm looking at this particularly because it's interesting to know, well, how are they assessed, how are they evaluated as they go through school, and this is an important part of it. So le socle commun de connaissances, de compétences et de culture. In English we often talk about knowledge, skills and attitudes. So connaissance is your knowledge, what you know. Compétence are your skills. Culture, I like the word culture, it's just how much of culture have you acquired? Do you understand what attitudes, what values do you have? Présente presents ce que tout élève doit savoir et maîtriser à 16 ans. So this is everything that they think you should know and master by the time you are 16. Il rassemble l'ensemble des connaissances, compétences, valeurs et attitudes. So actually they've changed it there. So it brings together the collection of knowledge, skills, values and attitudes. That's how they've now interpreted culture, your own values, your attitudes, which are necessary to succeed in your scolarité, in your schooling. Also to succeed in sa vie d'individu, your life as an individual, et du futur citoyen, and of a future citizen. Le livret scolaire permet de rendre compte aux parents des acquis et des progrès de leurs enfants. So there's a book, a school book, which will allow reporting to the parents about what they've acquired and about the progress of their children. Notice as well that it's plural, progrès. And that gives an évaluation complète et exigeante, a complete and demanding assessment. La maîtrise du socle est nécessaire pour obtenir le diplôme national du brevet. You have to pass this, you have to get it in order to get your the diploma, which you'll get at the end of equivalent year 9. So if we scroll down, we can see what this looks like. So there it is, 3 cycles of compulsory schooling it covers. We now know about these classes. Cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. So what do they learn from 6 to 16? And here we have it. So there are 5 domaines. Il y a 5 domaines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Les langages, pour penser et communiquer. So you need language to think and communicate. And this is not only langue française, their own language, but also langue vivante, étrangère, ou régionale. So for modern languages, they talk about living languages and foreign living languages. So modern foreign languages, we would say modern foreign languages or regional ones. And the language of mathematics, science and technology, and also of arts and of the body. So that's les langages. Domaine numéro 2, les méthodes et outils pour apprendre. So that's actually knowing how to access learning, how to get there. La formation de la personne et du citoyen, so developing yourself and yourself as a citizen. Système naturel et les systèmes techniques, so just being curious about and observing the world around you. Les représentations du monde et de l'activité humaine, so being aware of geography and history. This is obviously not necessarily without controversy. Certainly the idea of being able to assess someone's knowledge and their skills, that's something which is normally, people accept that. it is perhaps more difficult to assess someone's values and their attitudes. So that's something perhaps you'd like to discuss. So in this slide, I've just put the key bit of what we've just looked at, the key information about it. L'ensemble des connaissances, compétences, valeurs et attitudes nécessaires pour réussir sa scolarité, sa vie d'individu et de futur citoyen. And then this is when it's happening, de l'école primaire jusqu'à la dernière année de scolarité obligatoire. Les élèves acquièrent progressivement les compétences et les connaissances de ce socle commun. When talking about le socle commun, they made reference to the way it was reported using le livret scolaire. Let's have a look at that now. It's then something which is used for primary school and for the collège. And we click on here in order to get to the site, le livret scolaire. So it's le livret scolaire unique du CP à la troisième. So it's just a single book recording progress which will take them right through from the primary school to the end of year 10. Le livret scolaire unique de l'école et du collège est un outil simple. It's a simple tool, et précis but precise, simple and precise tool pour rendre compte aux parents des acquis et des progrès de leurs enfants. To report to parents what people have acquired and their progress, what their children have acquired and what their progress is. So, ce livre est accessible en ligne, so it's accessible online, afin que les parents et les élèves puissent en prendre connaissance lorsqu'ils le souhaitent. Oh, how lovely, we've got a lovely subjunctive here. So it's accessible online in order that the parents and pupils might, so it's the subjunctive of pouvoir, to be able to really access it when they wish to. Donc, here we are. So, le livret scolaire unique de l'école et du collège est un outil simple et précis pour rendre compte aux parents et des acquis et des progrès de leurs enfants. So, this single school book So here we are on the site, le livret scolaire unique du CP à la troisième. Le livret scolaire unique de l'école et du collège. So this is a school book. Here we are then on the site to tell us about le livret scolaire unique du CP à la troisième. So this, and each book, livret can mean book, a pamphlet, scolaire, school book. In this sense, though, it is the report. So it's the booklet which contains the report. So this, and it's the single, it's just one which goes through from school and the primary school and up to the collège, the next level up. So it's just a single report book for the school and for the collège. Est un outil simple et précis, so it's simple but precise, accurate, pour rendre compte, to report to the parents or parents des acquis et des progrès de leurs enfants. So this is really what they've attained, what they've acquired, and what their progress is of their children. So this report is accessible en ligne, online, and this is lovely, afin que les parents et les élèves puissent en prendre connaissance lorsqu'ils le souhaitent. So lovely subjunctive here, in order that parents and students might en prendre conscience, be aware of it, take heed of it, lorsqu'ils le souhaitent, when they wish to. So they don't have to wait for it to come to them, they can just access it whenever they like. L'application nationale de saisie des bilans, simple et ergonomique, est commune aux enseignants du premier et du second degré, du public et du privé. So basically it's very simple, and everybody has access, all sectors can use it. So there we are, it tells you what you're going to have. You're going to have periodic assessments, voila. And now let's look to see what it looks like. So back to my PowerPoint, and I've just done a screenshot of what it looks like, le livret scolaire. And this was from a presentation to parents to say, this is what it's all about. I think it's probably quite memorable the way you've got nice pictures, and they're very good at this sort of thing, I find, on the site. So, le livre scolaire unique de votre enfant, à partir de cette année, so this was new from this year, un livre scolaire unique suit votre enfant, so this single report book follows your child du CP from the cours préparatoire, that's year 2, that's the beginning of the primary school for them, à la troisième, to the troisième, which is at the end of year 10, et recense ses progrès, and notes the progress again dans l'acquisition des fondamentaux de la scolarité obligatoire, of acquiring fundamentals which are compulsory. Accessible en ligne, so accessible online. Il rend compte, it reports, renders an account of, de son avancée, of their progress dans les programmes scolaires, in the curriculum, conçu par cycle de 3 ans, which has been put together in cycles of 3 years. So you've got there, those 3 years there, 3 ans, 3 ans. Des cycles qui donnent le temps nécessaire pour mieux apprendre. So that's cycles which give you the necessary time to learn better. Donc, cycle 2, this is your apprentissage fondamentaux. So there'll be an assessment at the end of that cycle. Bilan de fin de cycle 2, so at the end of year 4. Cycle 3, that's the consolidation des acquis, so consolidating what you've learnt. So you'd have your bilan at the end of, they've actually gone into the next school, actually. It's at the end of cycle 3, so at the end of year 7. Et puis finalement, cycle 4, approfondissement des acquis, so consolidating all of that. So you'd have your report at the end of the cycle 4, that's at the end of year 10. And now let's look to see what it looks like. So here is the what you would get for the, I've chosen the cycle 4 for the 4th one. So you'd get this, get your logo, what the school year is, prénom, nom, né le, when you were born, jour, mois, année, professeur principal, the name of your teacher, classe de 3e, adresse des responsables légaux, so that's where it would be addressed to your guardians or parents. And here we are, maîtrise des composantes du socle, en fin de cycle 4. So to what extent have you mastered them? So here are the elements that you're meant to have mastered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 éléments. And I find this quite interesting. How is it assessed? Maîtrise insuffisante, insufficient mastery. Maîtrise fragile, so weak mastery. Maîtrise satisfaisante, that's satisfactory. And then you go up to très bonne maîtrise, very good mastery of it. So they're the 4 levels. And interesting that so often, this is just me saying this, in our education system or in our language, satisfactory often has the sense of being actually it's just satisfactory. Whereas here it's the real sense of satisfactory. It is satisfactory. That's good, you've done well. And then it goes to very good. So it's quite interesting the way that language is used there. Then there would be something where they'd written synthèse, so a summary des acquis scolaires, of what they've acquired en fin de cycle 4, at the end of the cycle 4. And then everybody would sign and stamp it. They love having signs and stamps cachés du collège. So, récapitulons, let's go over this. Un livret scolaire unique suit l'enfant depuis le CP et jusqu'à la classe de 3e. Accessible en ligne, il rend compte de son avancée et de ses acquis dans les programmes scolaires conçus par cycle de 3 ans. Les enseignants certifient le niveau atteint dans chaque composante du socle commun à la fin de chaque cycle d'enseignement. Le livret scolaire permet de rendre compte aux parents des acquis et des progrès de leurs enfants et de restituer ainsi une évaluation complète et exigeante. La maîtrise du socle est nécessaire pour obtenir le diplôme national du brevet, le DN.